So we've had a bit of a change of plan and we're in France now, and I'm not even sure if we're going to be home for Christmas. So I'm showing you what I would have planned on the off chance we don't get home. I'm not rushing. I'm going to take my time. I'm trying to live in the moment. This is where we are at the moment. We are at the foot of the Pyrenees Mountains in France, and it is absolutely spectacular. Honestly, I couldn't wish to be anywhere else in the world. We have travelled up the mountain 1,500 feet to get to this point where we are watching the water cascading down the Pyrenees Mountains. And honestly, as I said before, it is breathtakingly beautiful here. The air is clean and fresh. It is like heaven. So, like I said, we are in France for a very special reason. I will be filling you in, hopefully, when I get home. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and show you the plans that I had for this Christmas. Like I said, on the off chance that we don't get home in time. This was one of last year's trees. And, of course, we're in the new house now. This was the other one that was in the pub. And I'm going to go with two very similar themes. I've decided that I have boxes of glass that came from an old chandelier and things that I've been picking up thrifting over time. And I'm going to make those into Christmas decorations for both trees. My velvet ribbon collection. I've picked up lots of velvet ribbons here while I was in England, and I'm going to be using them on both trees and as part of my decor. It's very vintage, very Victorian, especially in the hallway. I've got the most beautiful green and pink ribbons to use. I'm going to be using them outside as well. Speaking of outside, I'm going to keep it very plain with lots of natural greenery, and again, bells that I've picked up, and little softer than last year, but adding the velvet is certainly giving it that vintage look. So my two main trees this year, if I get a chance to do them, I'm going to do one French country and one English country. Again, keeping it very, very vintage. It's hard not to when I'm surrounded by all this beauty here in France. It's really inspired me. So I'm going to go with very light colours on the one tree, the creams, the silvers, the beiges, lots of candles, again, lots of French country influence for this tree. And with the very fine little velvet ribbons, I'm going to add those ornaments to that tree. Lots of birds, French hens, you know what I mean. The other tree, which will be the English country tree, I'm going to go with tartans and plaids, lots of reds and blues, a more traditional look. I have so many of these lovely vintage old blankets that's really going to add that warm and cosy feeling to that English country look that I'm going for. As you can guess, I'm going to be using lots of those special ornaments that I've picked up on our travels, which is certainly going to add to that beautiful country, English country feel that I'm going for. So the first impression, obviously, as always, is the front door. If you remember, last year's door was beautiful. I just painted it the blue, and those magnolia leaves just contrasted beautifully. I'm going for a similar look this year, but I want it to be grander. I'd like that whole country house feel with lush greenery and lots of real greenery wound in with the artificial. I'd certainly like to have it more rustic looking and play it down a little bit, but with lots of lanterns and lights. So this has been my inspiration this year, the time we've spent in France and in the UK. We are currently in a place not far from a place called Lourdes in France, and it is at the foothills of the Pyrenees Mountains, and it is spectacular. You'll find Lourdes in southwestern France. It's known for its grotto, and each year millions visit to bathe and take the water. The water is said to have restorative properties. The church is the Church of Notre Dame de Lourdes. Blenheim Palace is a privately owned country estate in Oxfordshire. It's the seat of the Dukes of Marlborough and is the only non-royal country house in England to hold the title of palace. It's also the birthplace of Winston Churchill.